Hello and welcome back to the Review Den. And my friends, it's been too long. Yeah, Test Drive Unlimited was one of the first games I reviewed all those years ago, certainly the first to gain some traction, so I'd say this video is long overdue, especially since there's some rumblings in the Test Drive Unlimited world recently. Kiloton has posted some updates on Solar Crown, TDU3, but it's Test Drive Unlimited 2 that's gotten some real love from the community over the past few years. There are fixes to run it in modern Windows, cut content has been restored along with brand new goodies, and coolest of all, fan servers are making the first strides at bringing back multiplayer, which was officially cut in 2018. I'll be covering the mods and goodies later in this video, but first, since this is the Review Den, Test Drive Unlimited certainly wasn't the first open-world racing game, but it was the first to show how far you could take the formula. Visit a beautiful location, in this case a massive-scale interpretation of Oahu, Hawaii, collect and race some of the most exotic cars ever made, unleash your inner fashionista, and if you were so inclined, share these experiences with other players online. No, you weren't battling everyone on the road to win back your stolen ride. It was a little more laid back, but police chases were present and you and your mates could always get into mischief together. It mainstreamed the more, I guess you could say, collection-focused, exotic online racing world, to the extent that some of its inspired follow-ups now rule the racing charts. But before Turn 10 made its play for the crown, as it were, Eden Games managed to develop a sequel. It wasn't the revolution of the first game, they mostly stuck to the established framework with just a few new ideas, but when you have a formula that good, it's hard to blame them. Test Drive Unlimited 2 gives you more open world, more racing, more lifestyles of the rich and famous, and the entire campaign now has a narrative to push you along. Yeah, it's like a goofy reality TV show, which, okay, Horizon and the crew did the cutscenes better, but they didn't have mansions with aquariums in the garage, so take that. For the actual driving and racing, you can tell this is built over the original engine, but the physics are a bit heavier this time. Cars have more weight to them, and with assists turned off, you'll really need to watch your wheels spin. Like the first game, handling is pretty grippy and linear with the handholds on, but turn them off and the moment you overcook things, you can lose the car, something Horizon and the crew downplay in favor of easy drifting. This is even more noticeable in the rain. Test Drive Unlimited 2 not only adds a full day-night cycle, but random weather as well. Rain forces you to adjust your handling on the fly, and roads remain wet even after storms pass, which is a nice touch. Again, traction control is available and almost necessary in the top-level cars, but if you've never tried, I'd encourage you at least attempting some of the lower levels or classics with the assists off. It's serious fun trying to keep those machines under control. Speaking of fun, the new off-road gameplay is a blast, and unlike the blacktop, drifts are easy and encouraged here. Most of the cars, not all, most, are speed-locked here, but the SUVs are able to go hog wild. Actually, the trucks make for great explorers since the faster ones can cover any routes quickly to fill in the map, and since some earlier test drive games were off-road focused, I guess it's a nice way to tie those in too. The only area where gameplay gets clunky is if you get airborne. To be fair, most open-world racers treat jumps like toy cars, but TDU2 has some issues here. Anything beyond a small hop runs the risk of flipping, rolling, or otherwise crashing on landing, so it's best to brake before any big crests, at least during races. It's a shame too, you can tell the developers added more depth to the physics with noticeable suspension travel and momentum, but the game engine is clearly more comfortable with all four wheels planted, so just a heads up. Police chases are back if you get into mischief, but instigating them is more forgiving. In Test Drive Unlimited 1, the police meter would build every time you hit a civic car, but here you're only docked when a patrol car is in sight. In fact, it's entirely possible to play the whole game without a single chase unless you just enjoy pinballing nearby traffic. But dude, when they happen, talking about an upgrade. See, the original game had these weird chases that were both stressful and forgiving. The police would alternate between a live unit and a roadblock, and they were usually easy to avoid, but you couldn't clear the chase since units would just respawn when you pulled away, and fines for level 3 chases could go into hundreds of thousands of dollars. TDU2 reworks these, and they are so much better now. Now you have a simple timer to survive, but during that time the police will throw everything at you. You'll have chasers and rammers, roadblocks, helicopters, and EMP attacks to shut you down for a few nail-biting seconds. It's proper Need for Speed level stuff, and with working multiplayer, other players could join the chase on your side or the police's. And lastly, exploration is pleasant and encouraged to find new dealerships, real estate, and style shops. Filling in the map expands the selections available for tuning your cars and outfitting your avatar, but the game will always reveal upcoming races and relevant car lots, so players aren't left blind as to where to go next. Free roam also introduces a stunt system to keep things exciting. Like the Horizon games, drifts, jumps, and near misses are all scored on screen, only here you can bank them as money. The higher the multiplier, the more pocket change. You can challenge roaming competitors to an instant race with a flash of your headlights, and everything you do, whether racing, collecting, or exploring, adds to your profile levels. For content, Test Drive Unlimited 2 now offers 2 whole islands worth of racing, real estate, and goodies. Yes, Oahu returns later in the game, which, considering how long it must have taken to model, I can't really blame them for reusing, but the game begins on Ibiza, a beautiful Mediterranean island nestled between Spain and Mallorca. Ibiza is a popular destination for celebrities and EDM fans in real life, so it fits nicely with the tone of the game. And while it may be a smaller map than Oahu, at over 200 square miles, there's still plenty to explore. Races are now divided into type, modern, classic, and off-road, and performance classes within each. With over 20 championships to clear, you won't be left wanting for gameplay, but I do think the layout of the races is a step backwards from the first game. In Test Drive Unlimited, races were all individual points spread throughout the map, and every time you drove toward one, you'd usually uncover more along the way. Heading to a middle-of-the-road Class C event, you might find a supercar time trial or an eliminator for classic Chevys. It always surprised you with something new, and you could tackle the events in any order. Here, though, races are condensed into just a few championship hubs. It's not bad, it's just more samey and common compared to the creative game loop of TDU1. What I would consider a cardinal sin is the need to clear racing schools before each championship. Look, these worked in the first Gran Turismo, since back then apparently nobody knew how to brake before turns, but nowadays, and especially in a free and open world racer, they're just busy work. Thankfully though, the hitchhiker challenges are back. Sorry, I have no idea why I like these so much.
Oh, I don't feel too good.
You'll get over 100 random events involving exotic deliveries, thrill seekers, stealth chases.
I knew she was hiding something from me. Thank you.
Sure, have a good one. And time trials. They're great diversions and give you a chance for some extra money and exploration. There's a custom creator for designing your own challenges, and oh yeah, an entire multiplayer side, which just might be on its way back. And you can't complain about the car lineup. The official blurb pegs the list at around 75, though there are some alternates of the same model. You'll find everything from grand tourers like Aston Martin and Mercedes, to beefy muscle from Ford and Chevy, to hyper-exotics like Ferrari or Bugatti. Every class gives you several options to choose from, and most can be tuned for better performance. Hidden wrecks are dotted throughout the island and act similar to barn finds in Horizon, though these aren't always useful for racing. In fact, on that note, there was official DLC, but a surprising number of these were just different colors of existing cars. Hey players, why buy a regular Aston Martin in black when you can pay real-life money for a black edition Aston Martin?
What a savings.
Thankfully, you won't need to pay real-life money for the game's real estate. Everything from
No, seriously, what is with the DLC in this game?
Everything from beachfront condos to baller mansions to luxury yachts are available to store your rides, and you can explore them all on foot. You're now able to replace individual furniture and can even use your in-game photos to decorate. Very clever. Fashion shops make a return for those wanting to go all GQ with their avatar, and back when it was working, you could unlock emotes to share with other players in the casino. Though most of what I remember was weird shirtless guys in the chauffeur hat walking up and belly dancing at me. Visually, Test Drive Unlimited 2 is still a good-looking game. Well, it's a good-looking game depending on where you are. In the more built-up areas of Ibiza or Hawaii, the game looks nice. Pretty, actually. But the more barren areas can be pretty bland. I'm sure it's a lot of work to dress up lesser-seen parts of the map, but the first game seemed to hide this better behind good lighting. And on that note, when you do return to Hawaii, they drop you off in the least interesting part of the map. Just head south if you're wanting for better scenery. The cars look great though. Like the first game, there's one or two questionable poly models, but overall they look great and have brand new damage and dirt modeling when things get messy.
The bloody door won't close!
Characters are a bit sketch though. Horizon and the crew would soon move miles beyond this, and I get it, Eden's a smaller team, but if you're gonna put so much focus on NPCs and avatars, well, you should do better than this. But special commendation goes to the audio here. Many racers to this point, and even the first game, featured more subdued, droning engine notes, but Test Drive Unlimited 2 dials these to 11. Growling V8s, screaming V12s, even Turbo 4s, all feature blown-out audio that finally makes these cars sound as powerful as they should. They may not be totally accurate, but again, they're loud. You won't get any of the vacuum cleaner effects here. And for music, TDU2 features an eclectic mix of EDM, alternative, hip-hop, and rock. It's a bit of an odd mix, and like the first game, it's more second label stuff. Big licenses cost big money, but there's some catchy tracks here to enjoy. On balance, Test Drive Unlimited 2 is a great game. It's a worthy follow-up to the original, and to date, nothing else quite gives racers the chance to experience the lifestyle of wheeling and dealing million-dollar mansions. It has its moments of clunk and unrealized ambition, but I think that's more endemic of the size of Eden Games. If they had the money and manpower of bigger publishers, who knows what might have been. So what if the fans stepped in to finish what Eden Games started? Well, this brings us to what I like to call the 3 ways to play Test Drive Unlimited 2. Yes, the vanilla bean version is still an option, but now there's a whole list of mods, updates, and overhauls that have brought this game back to life, including multiplayer servers. Now maybe this is second nature to some, but I'm not a programmer, so this is all space magic to me. Kudos to the community. And while the multiplayer may still be a little undercooked, future plans and roadmaps are in place, so I'm sure there's more excitement to come. Let's get into it. First up is the original release, though I'd more consider this the console version, especially if you're looking for something that's plug and play. While there might be some original Steam keys left, these are all price gouged, and shady sites are known to sell duplicate keys. On top of that, the PC version does not play nice with modern Windows, so if you have original hardware and want something that just works, this is it. And honestly, these still play and look pretty nice. There's no multiplayer and some cars have their quirks, but you're still getting the full 2-island solo campaign. Next up is the unofficial PC experience, the unofficial patch. Unlike the scattered mods throughout the years, this is a collective overhaul that restores lost content and adds new cars, fixes, and quality of life updates. Unofficial patch is available as a download over the original or part of a repack. The review done does not advocate piracy, only preservation. Always be wary of shady downloads. UP adds back cars cut for time by Eden, including the classic Shelby Mustang, Nismo 370, and Audi R8 V8, as well as a ton of fan-submitted cars like the BAC Mono, Lamborghini Aventador, and Toyota Supra, the real one. Previously exclusive cars like the Ferrari 458 and Spiker Aileron are available, and the official car list has been worked on to fix various handling or shifting glitches. And you can finally respray prize cars, which, funny story, but when the game first came out, as in day one before any updates, you couldn't even sell the prize cars. So like every message board was headlined with players just wanting to get rid of that pink lipstick Mustang. And of course, you can still use other mods to your liking. Unofficial patch just provides a great framework to build on, or provide players with a one-and-done upgrade over the original. quick, since we're talking PC, let's squash some bugs. First is the map crash, common with RTX cards. Some suggest tabbing out during the map soon, but no, it still crashes on championship screens. That's not a fix. No, the solution is either DG Voodoo or DXVK. DG is a glide wrapper for Voodoo graphics, but also helps with old DirectX games. And DXVK is a Vulkan renderer, which is super easy to use. Just copy the 32-bit DirectX 9 DLL to the game folder. Now, these will cut into your frame rate, but modern rigs can handle this much better than they did a few years ago, and more importantly, you can actually access the map. And if the game still crashes after an hour or so, you can fix that with large address aware. TDU2 is a 32-bit application which conflicts with modern memory management, but as long as you have over 4 gigs of RAM, large address will make them compatible. Point it to the game's executable and click the 4 gig flag. Miracles of modern technology. But if you want to see the future possibilities of TDU2, check out the fan servers. There are 2 major sites available, TDU World and Project Paradise 2, each with their strengths, and a third, TD Universe, though that one might be on its way out. Project Paradise offers a good player base and is pretty open to original or modded versions of the game, as long as players have compatible builds. Services are mostly restored outside the casino, and this is a great way to take your favorite version of the game back online. TDU World also offers online servers, but couches them in its own custom build of the game, sort of a follow-up to the unofficial patch. DLC content is fully restored, and the usual quality of life updates are here, as well as some visual buffs. The included launcher offers curated mods and patches, but mandates a base pack which completely overhauls car classes, difficulty, and the physics. And you can feel it right away. Handling is much more lively, with tire grip breaking away dynamically rather than the full grip or full slip it was before. By default, this means cars can get squirrely at high speeds, but I found going into the options and bumping up speed-sensitive steering brings it under control, at least with an Xbox One controller. Much of the car list has been reclassified as well, with slower cars moved down a rank to be more competitive. Be aware though, the difficulty in many events has been significantly raised. Championships get a decent bump where you might need more tuning, but deliveries and, believe it or not, license tests get the biggest overhauls. The vanilla game is, well, honestly pretty easy, laid back, but TDU World significantly tightens the time limits for high-level challenges. The good news is the prize payouts are raised to match, and you can tell these were all play tested. Nothing is broken or out of reach. You'll just need to bring your A game. TDU World stated they wanted to completely update the game to modern standards, and honestly, I'm impressed with what they've brought so far. This is a great overhaul, and who knows what the future holds. Already there are rumblings of a new Rally DLC, and it would be cool if they can realize what Eden Games at least seemed to be planning to implement. Even in the vanilla game, cars like the Impreza, Delta, and Stratos all perform well off-road, and Rally Classics did show up in pre-production art, but like everything else, it seems that money and time just didn't hold out. The fact that fans have kept this game alive and improving is testament to how good the Test Drive Unlimited formula is. Its competitors are absolutely great games and improve on the flash and frenzy, but to date, nothing else quite nails the lifestyle or freedom of Test Drive Unlimited. The feeling that this is you walking into the dealership and everything is on the table, or cruising the Hawaiian coast at 200 miles an hour. Not in a race, but just because it's fun. The community has given us awesome ways to keep playing, which they deserve massive credit for. And it's always, a little more personal when a game is supported by the fans who play it, even if it doesn't have the gigantic corporate backing of the AAAs. Hopefully, Kiloton and Nacon will live up to the fans with Solar Crown, and in the meantime, if maybe this video has given someone out there a reason to jump back into TDU2, or you just enjoyed the series, feel free to comment below. And thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and if you'd like to help a small channel grow, would you be my next subscriber? I'll be back with another video, and no matter what, be sure to keep going, because you are worth it.